The United Nations Global Compact Network, the world's largest sustainability corporate initiative, which is committed to advancing the universal principles on human rights, labor, environment, and anti-corruption, hosted a collective anti-corruption workshop for Nigerian small-medium enterprises. This was powered by Siemens, a multinational operating in Nigeria, but focused on advocating strong business ethics for SMEs and large corporates. In her opening remarks, the Chief Financial Officer of Siemens Nigeria, Ms. Fumi Akonde, highlighted the issues of corruption and why businesses should operate with integrity in the country.
People engage in corruption for selfish interests. Even within organizations, people do things they know they're not meant to do because they want what? Promotion, career progression. So I knew I could have a conversation with a customer and do things that are perhaps fraudulent, and I know that it could get my company maybe a project for that time, but subsequently, what happens? So I would have received a huge bonus, bought a house with it, but people coming into the organization years after, like Siemens has suffered, people would suffer for the consequences of my action. So for self-gain. People also engage in corruption because they want to have a feeling of importance, and especially in Nigeria. So I don't know if you've experienced it. You're driving into a company, you're in your saloon car, you're at the gate, and the security men are just treating you anyhow. Then somebody comes with SUV, and they are giving the person maximum attention. So everybody also wants to have that feeling of importance. I want to arrive there in style, and they know that a big man or a big woman has arrived. So people do that. Also linked to that is status and class. We celebrate people in Nigeria, and sometimes you look at the people, the caliber of people being celebrated, and you wonder. Some of them we know their stories, some of them we don't know their stories. I look at the Facebook pages, LinkedIn pages of some of the very important, rich people who have achieved. And you see the kind of comments, but we know the stories behind some of these people. And some of us have idolized them. We also want to be like them. We also want people to look at us as people who have arrived and achieved something. It's also competition. So the other company is doing better than our company. What do we do to make sure our company does better? And especially for small and medium-sized enterprises. So I know that company A, once they import, their goods are out, while mine will stay with the customs officials forever. Their goods are out, they've started to sell. They're making profit, they're smiling to the bank. And I'm there, my business isn't growing. If you can't beat them, join them. So for competition, people also do that. Sometimes people have put themselves in compromised positions. So don't put yourself in a situation where you're compromised, where you can't stand and say, I'm sorry, I will not be able to do what you've asked me to do. And lastly, I would say it's important that we all, everyone seated here, listening, we all fight corruption. I think if things are this bad now, what happens to the next generation? So when we think of ourselves, let's also think of the generation coming. Let's fight corruption. Let's move our country forward.
Mr. Femi Oye, CEO SME Funds, gave insights on corruption risk and challenges for SMEs and large corporates.
So business should kill competitive advantage through corruption by working together and doing what we call the red card or name and shame. I think in the last session that we had here, this name and shame, and probably as part of our discussion today, we can also still talk more about that. institutional investors must play a greater role in punishing companies behaving corruptly. So I've been punished once, and I think it's part of what should be there. As an SME, I could be in maybe retail or supply chain of another big company. So whatsoever the big company expects is what I give. So if big company that is paying me for service that I provide for them already have it in their policy, I think it's mandatory that SME coming working with them should have something to emulate. Our excellent world-class laws, we already have that in place. I think it's not about our laws, about just talking about this. I think it's more of the action part. How do you want to practice it? How do you want to go out from here and begin to act? In conclusion, corruption impacts the development of SMEs. In Nigeria, the government must take a giant steps to curb this. While there has been progress that we've made, more hard work still lies ahead. Policies and enforcement efforts will continue to shift the landscape of compliance and business leaders. Business leaders must remember that left unchecked, of course, I've mentioned that, we undermine the very legitimacy of capitalism. It's time to get our small businesses from the corruption quadrant to a place of safety where we can innovate, create jobs, and promote fair, dynamic market.
Mrs. Helen Irohen, Team Lead Products for First Bank Nigeria, also shared how the bank has ensured effective measures are deployed to ensure transparency in its relationship with SMEs in the country.
It's because of issues of corruption that has made banks to introduce even legal mortgage, for loans like a contract finance or LPO finance. Before, it was not like that. But we see where SMEs go and connive with staff of organizations to divert the proceeds. And then the loan is bad, the staff is sacked, and the bank is carrying a bad loan in its books. So these are the issues that affect both the bank, even the economy at large. That SME will never grow in his business. But if it's an SME that is very credible, has integrity, and knows that I am investing in the future of my business, the future of my children, the future of the nation, that SME will carry out his business in a manner that will support that business and the economy at large.
Head Africa UN Global Compact, Olajobi Makinwa, and Fumi Akonde, Chief Financial Officer for Siemens, speak further on the essence of the workshop.
The fact that corruption is not only a government issue of corruption, the private sector has a role to play in it. In many cases, actually, in some cases, I would say, it is even driven by the private sector. And that's why the Global Compact said we should not only fight corruption, pointing fingers at governments. We need to bring all the actors together in a platform that is friendly and not antagonistic. And that's what we do, bringing all the stakeholders together, looking at the issue and saying, let's fight this together so that we can have impact, so that we can realize our objectives.
If you look at the overview of the program, 84% of employers of labor are small and medium-sized enterprises. So who do you focus on? Do you continue to look at the big multinationals, the government, or look at the people who form a great percentage of decision makers, influencers? So we thought it was important. It's not our first attempt at collective action, but our first attempt at focusing on small and medium-sized enterprises. And it's basically for Siemens to share our own story. We've been there, we knew what we suffered, and we don't want companies to suffer that. And we know what Nigeria as an entity also has suffered because of this.
Mr. Konde has a message for SMEs and businesses in the country.
The message is every organization can do clean business. You can be profitable, you can grow, even when you don't involve yourself in corruption activities.
A major takeaway is that with the understanding that corruption is a key factor hindering the growth and development of Nigeria, the time has come for the government in partnership with the private sector to tackle it in a systemic manner.